Welcome to another spectacular journey through the natural wonders of our world. Today, we're heading to Iran, a country that holds the record for the hottest land surface temperature ever recorded, yet also harbors lush forests older than human history itself. This is a place where wind towers cool homes without electricity, where underground water channels stretch for thousands of miles, and where gardens bloom in cities that shouldn't exist according to modern logic. But here's the question I want you to ponder as we journey together. What happens when we allow headlines to write a country's entire story? How much do we miss when we reduce complex civilizations to sound bites and stereotypes? Iran is roughly the size of Alaska, home to over 88 million people, and contains ecosystems so diverse that you could experience all 4 seasons in a single day just by changing elevation. It's a land that has given the world poetry, architecture, and engineering solutions that modern scientists are only now beginning to fully appreciate. Before we dive into this epic adventure, if you're passionate about discovering the hidden wonders of our planet, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss a single episode. And after you've experienced what Iran truly offers, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Would you visit? What surprised you most? Drop your answers in the comments below. Now, let's begin our journey into the extraordinary. Let me start by asking you to forget almost everything you think you know about Iran. Set aside the political rhetoric, the evening news fragments, and the limited images that circulate through social media feeds. What remains when we strip away these layers? A geographical marvel, an ecological impossibility, a living museum of human adaptation and architectural genius spanning millennia. Iran occupies a strategic crossroads in Western Asia, bordered by the Caspian Sea to the north, the Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman to the south, with Turkey and Iraq to the west, and Afghanistan and Pakistan to the east. This positioning alone tells a story. For thousands of years, Iran has been the bridge between east and west, the corridor through which ideas, goods, religions, and innovations flowed between continents. This isn't just land, it's a cultural thoroughfare that shaped human history. But geography here means more than political boundaries. Iran sprawls across 1,648,195 square kilometers, making it the 17th largest country in the world. To put that in perspective for Americans, it's about the size of Alaska, or roughly 5 times larger than Germany. Within this vast territory lies a topographical drama that few nations can match. The Alborz mountain range sweeps across the north like a protective barrier, while the Zagros Mountains dominate the west and southwest, creating natural fortresses that have influenced military strategy and cultural development for millennia. What truly sets Iran apart, however, is its refusal to conform to singular definitions. This is simultaneously one of the world's most arid regions and home to ancient temperate rainforests. It contains both the hottest surface temperatures ever recorded and permanent glaciers. Understanding Iran requires accepting contradiction as the fundamental truth of its existence. Let's talk about heat, real, earth-scorching, record-breaking heat. The Lut Desert, known locally as Lut, has earned its reputation as one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. In 2005, satellite measurements recorded a land surface temperature of 77 degrees C, 159.3 degrees F, in this barren expanse. To understand what this means, imagine walking on asphalt so hot it could cook an egg in minutes, where rocks are too scorching to touch, and the air shimmers with heat waves that distort reality itself. The Lut spans approximately 51,800 square kilometers of eastern Iran, a vast emptiness interrupted only by massive sand dunes called yardangs, wind-sculpted formations that rise up to 475 meters high, among the tallest on the planet. These aren't gentle, rolling hills of sand like you'd see in typical desert postcards. These are massive geological sculptures carved by millennia of relentless wind, creating alien landscapes that seem more suitable for Mars than Earth. The Lut is so hostile that until recent decades, it was believed nothing could survive here. Scientists have since discovered extremophile bacteria living in the harshest sections, organisms that have adapted to conditions that would instantly kill most life forms. But here's where Iran's split personality becomes fascinating. Drive north from the Lut Desert for several hours, climb through elevation changes that will make your ears pop, and suddenly you're standing in humidity so thick you can taste it, surrounded by forests that have existed since before the last ice age. The Hyrcanian forests, also known as the Caspian forests, stretch along the northern slopes facing the Caspian Sea, covering approximately 55,000 square kilometers across northern Iran and into Azerbaijan. These aren't ordinary forests. The Hyrcanian forests are relics from a wetter, warmer period 25-50 million years ago when vast temperate forests covered much of the northern hemisphere. When the climate changed and ice ages arrived, these forests retreated and mostly disappeared, except here, where the unique combination of Caspian moisture and mountain protection allowed them to survive. The biodiversity here is staggering. Over 3,200 vascular plant species thrive in these forests, with 44% found nowhere else on Earth. This isn't just nature, this is a living archive of prehistoric ecology, a botanical time capsule that offers scientists insights into what Earth looked like before humans ever walked upright. And then there's the coast itself, the Caspian coastline where Iran meets the world's largest inland body of water. Here, beaches stretch along 650 kilometers of shoreline, where humid subtropical climate creates conditions similar to the American Southeast. Rice paddies stretch across the landscape, tea plantations cover hillsides, and oranges grow in groves that seem impossible given that you're in the same country as the Lut Desert. To understand Iran is to understand Persia, a name that still resonates with images of ancient empires, Silk Roads, and cultural sophistication that rivaled and often surpassed anything Europe could offer for most of human history. The Persian Empire at its height under Cyrus the Great and his successors in the Achaemenid dynasty, 553–30 BCE, controlled approximately 5.5 million square kilometers, stretching from the Balkans and Eastern Europe in the west to the Indus Valley in the east. This was the largest empire the world had ever seen up to that point, governing an estimated 44% of the world's population. But Persia wasn't built on military conquest alone. What distinguished the Persian Empire was its administrative genius, its relative tolerance of different cultures and religions, and its engineering achievements that solved problems other civilizations hadn't even recognized yet. The Qanat system, underground water channels that transporting groundwater from mountain aquifers to cities and farms across arid plains, represents one of humanity's most ingenious sustainable technologies. Some Iranian qanats are over 3,000 years old and still function today, moving water through hand-dug tunnels that can extend for dozens of kilometers underground. Ancient Persian engineers calculated precise gradients, sometimes declining less than 1 meter per kilometer, to ensure water flowed continuously without erosion or stagnation. They dug vertical shafts every 20-30 meters to remove excavated earth and provide ventilation for workers tunneling through solid rock with primitive tools. The longest qanat in Iran, in the city of Gonabad, extends for over 45 kilometers underground, longer than a marathon race, all hand-excavated centuries before modern machinery existed. This wasn't just impressive, it was civilization-enabling. Cities like Yazd, Kerman, and Kashan exist because qanats brought water where nature provided almost none. These water systems created gardens in deserts, supported agriculture that fed millions, and demonstrated a level of hydraulic engineering that wouldn't be matched in Europe for over 1,000 years. The Persian Empire also gave us the concept of the Royal Road, a 500-kilometer highway system connecting Sardis in modern-day Turkey to Susa in southwestern Iran. This ancient interstate enabled communication across vast distances, with mounted couriers covering the entire route in just 7 days, a feat that amazed ancient Greek historians who noted that neither snow nor rain nor heat nor darkness of night prevented these messengers from completing their routes. That phrase inspired the unofficial motto of the United States Postal Service, demonstrating how Persian innovations echo into our modern world. Ancient Persia thrived on trade, positioning itself as the middleman between Eastern and Western civilizations. Silk, spices, precious metals, and ideas flowed through Persian territory, generating wealth that funded architectural projects, supported arts and sciences, and created a cosmopolitan culture that embraced Greek philosophy, Egyptian medicine, and Indian mathematics alongside Persian traditions. Let's journey south now to where Iran meets the Persian Gulf and discover islands that seem transporting from another planet. Keshem Island, the largest island in the Persian Gulf at 1,491 square kilometers, presents landscapes so surreal that visitors often question whether they're still on Earth. The island's most famous feature, the Chaku Canyon, also known as the Valley of Stars, showcases erosion artistry on a grand scale. Wind and occasional rain have carved the sandstone and marl into organic, flowing shapes, walls that curve like frozen waves, passages that narrow into slot canyons barely wide enough to squeeze through, and chambers where light filters through openings above, creating otherworldly illumination. Local legend claims that a star fell from the sky here, creating the valley's strange formations. The geological truth, millions of years of water and wind erosion, is equally magical. But Keshem offers more than geological wonder. The island hosts the Hara forest, one of the few mangrove ecosystems in the Persian Gulf. These salt-tolerant trees create a crucial habitat for migrating birds, fish nurseries, and unique flora adapted to survive in both saltwater and freshwater conditions. During high tide, the forest appears to float on water. During low tide, the tree's complex root systems emerge like wooden fingers grasping the mud. Then there's Hormuz Island, just across the water, a place where the ground itself bleeds color. This small volcanic island, only about 42 square kilometers, contains soil and rock in over 70 different colors. Red dominates, created by iron oxide deposits, but you'll also find yellow ochre, white chalk, orange, purple, and even black volcanic soil. For centuries, locals have harvested these colorful soils, using them as natural pigments for food coloring, cosmetics, and paint. The island's Portuguese fortress, built in the early 16th century when Portugal controlled key Persian Gulf trading routes, stands as a reminder of Hormuz's strategic importance. The Hormuz, in the Strait of Hormuz, through which roughly 21% of the world's petroleum passes, takes its name from this colorful island. Even today, this narrow waterway between Iran and Oman remains one of the world's most crucial maritime choke points, with approximately 21 million barrels of oil flowing through it daily, making it central to global energy economics. We must return to the Lut Desert, not just as a geographical curiosity, but as a case study in human determination. How do you build civilization next to a place that regularly exceeds 70 degrees C? How do you not just survive, but thrive when your neighbor is one of Earth's most hostile environments? The city of Kerman, with a population of over 700,000, sits at the edge of the Lut, serving as a living answer to these questions. Founded over 1,800 years ago, Kerman became wealthy through its position on trade routes connecting the Persian Gulf to Central Asia. Merchants needed stops between long desert crossings. Kerman provided that oasis, that safe haven where caravans could resupply before facing the Lut's emptiness. Kerman's architecture reveals adaptation strategies refined over centuries. Thick mud brick walls, sometimes over a meter wide, insulate against extreme temperature swings, scorching days, and surprisingly cold nights. Buildings cluster together, creating shade and reducing exposed surfaces. Streets run in specific orientations to minimize direct sun exposure during the hottest hours. These aren't random design choices, they're survival strategies encoded into urban planning. The city also became famous for its carpets, intricate, hand-knotted masterpieces that took months or even years to complete. Kerman carpets, known for their fine weaving and elaborate designs, were exported across the world, turning desert hardship into artistic triumph. Even today, Kerman's carpet industry employs thousands and represents a continuous craft tradition stretching back centuries. But perhaps Kerman's greatest lesson is psychological. The city proves that humans don't just adapt to extreme environments, they build culture, create beauty, and establish thriving communities despite them. The desert isn't conquered, it's negotiated with, respected, and ultimately incorporated into identity. Kerman residents don't see the Lut as their enemy, they see it as their crucible, the thing that made them ingenious, resilient, and proud. If Kerman represents survival, Yazd represents elegance, the perfection of desert living through architecture so intelligent it puts many modern buildings to shame. Yazd, recognized by UNESCO as one of the world's oldest continuously inhabited cities, sits in the middle of Iran's central desert plateau, surrounded by nothing but sand, rock, and shimmering heat for hundreds of kilometers in every direction. Average summer temperatures in Yazd regularly exceed 40 degrees C, 104 degrees F, with minimal rainfall, sometimes less than 50 annually, making it one of the driest cities on Earth. Yet Yazd has thrived here for over 3,000 years, home to a current population of approximately 500,000 people. The secret? Bazaars, wind catchers that are simultaneously simple and brilliant. A bazaar is essentially a tall tower, often rising 10–15 meters above a building, with openings facing the prevailing winds. As wind hits the tower, it's channeled downward into the building below, creating natural ventilation and cooling. But the genius goes deeper. Many bazaars work in combination with underground qanats. The incoming wind passes over water channels or pools before entering living spaces, and evaporative cooling drops temperatures by 10–15 degrees C without electricity, refrigerants, or any modern technology whatsoever. The old city of Yazd, with its labyrinthine alleys and predominantly earth-colored buildings, creates a microclimate cooler than surrounding desert. Narrow streets provide shade, high walls block direct sunlight, and courtyards with fountains and vegetation offer cool refuges. The entire city functions as an integrated cooling system, proving that sustainable architecture isn't a modern invention. It's an ancient science that we've only recently remembered to value. Yazd also holds special significance as a center of Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest continuously practiced religions, dating back over 3,000 years. Zoroastrians worship in fire temples where sacred flames have burned continuously for centuries. In Yazd's main fire temple, the flame has allegedly burned since 470 CE. The religion influenced Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, with concepts like heaven and hell, angels and demons, and a final day of judgment. Travel southwest to Shiraz, and you enter Iran's cultural and poetic soul, a city that has been synonymous with roses, nightingales, love poetry, and refined living for over 1,000 years. With a population exceeding 1.5 million, modern Shiraz is Iran's sixth largest city, but its cultural impact far exceeds its size. Two names dominate Shiraz's literary legacy: Hafez and Sa'di, poets whose verses still resonate across Persian-speaking communities worldwide. Hafez Shirazi, who lived in the 14th century, wrote ghazals, lyrical poems exploring love, spirituality, and the human condition with such beauty and depth that his collected works, the Divani Hafez, remains the most popular book in Iranian households after the Quran. Iranians practice bibliomancy with Hafez's poetry, randomly opening his book to receive guidance for life decisions. His tomb in Shiraz is a pilgrimage site, a garden where visitors read verses aloud, seeking connection with a poet who died over 600 years ago, but whose words still speak to contemporary hearts. Sa'di, who lived in the 13th century, gave us the Bustling and Golston, collections of poems and prose combining moral instruction with literary artistry. His most famous verse adorns the entrance to the United Nations building in New York. Human beings are members of a whole, in creation of one essence and soul. If one member is afflicted with pain, other members uneasy will remain. These words, written 800 years ago in Shiraz, express universal humanistic values that transcend culture, religion, and time. But Shiraz offers more than poetry. The Nasir al-Mulk Mosque, built in the late 19th century, demonstrates Persian mastery of light and color. Known as the Pink Mosque for its rose-colored tiles, the building's true magic reveals itself in early morning when sunlight streams through stained glass windows, projecting kaleidoscopic patterns across the interior, blues, reds, yellows, and greens dancing across columns and carpets in a display that changes minute by minute as the sun moves. This isn't just architecture, it's choreographed light, spiritual experience translated into geometry and color. Even in ruins, Persepolis astounds. The Apadana Palace, with its forest of columns, some still standing at 20 meters tall, could accommodate 10,000 people for royal receptions. The Gate of All Nations, guarded by enormous Lamashu statues, human-headed winged bulls, welcomed delegations from across the known world. Relief carvings along the staircases depict representatives from 23 subject nations bringing gifts. Babylonians with textiles, Egyptians with bulls, Indians with gold, each delegation rendered in meticulous detail that reveals differences in clothing, physical features, and cultural goods. The complex was intentionally burned by Alexander the Great in 330 BCE, whether in drunken revelry or calculated political symbolism remains debated. But Persepolis survived that destruction to tell its story. Walking among these ruins, touching stone carved by craftsmen 2,500 years ago, you're confronting the reality of empire at a scale that wouldn't be matched for centuries. Isfahan is half the world. This Persian saying reflects the city's historical grandeur during the Safavid dynasty, 1501-1736, when Shah Abbas I made it his capital and transformed it into one of the world's most beautiful cities. With a current population exceeding 2 million, Isfahan remains Iran's third largest city and perhaps its most architecturally harmonious. Heart of Isfahan is Naqsh-e Jahan Square, built in the early 17th century and covering approximately 89,600 square meters, one of the largest city squares in the world, second only to Tiananmen Square in Beijing. But size alone doesn't capture its significance. This square functioned as the political, economic, and religious center of Safavid Persia, surrounded by the Shah Mosque, Sheikh Lotfollah Mosque, Ali Kapu Palace, and the entrance to the Grand Bazaar. The Shah Mosque, now called Imam Mosque, represents the pinnacle of Persian Islamic architecture. Its entrance portal rises 27 meters, covered in intricate tilework that seems to shimmer with inner light. The mosque's unusual angled entrance rotates the building to face Mecca while maintaining the square's symmetry, architectural problem-solving that's both practical and beautiful. Inside, the main dome reaches 53 meters, decorated with what many consider the world's finest mosaic tilework. Sheikh Lotfollah Mosque, smaller and more intimate, was built as a private mosque for the royal family. Its dome exterior changes color throughout the day, pale cream in morning light, golden at noon, pinkish at sunset, due to the specific clay and glaze used in its tiles. The interior features a central space that glows with light filtering through latticed windows, creating an atmosphere of contemplation and peace. Isfahan's bridges, particularly the Pole Bridge of 33 arches and Kaju Bridge, aren't merely transportation infrastructure, they're social spaces, architectural landmarks, and hydraulic engineering marvels. Built in the 17th century, these bridges include pavilions, tea houses, and seating areas where people still gather to socialize, particularly in evenings. The Kaju Bridge functions as a dam, with sluice gates that can raise water levels for irrigation and mill operation, proving that beauty and function need not be separated. Travel north to Kashan, and the focus shifts from public grandeur to private luxury. The historic houses of Kashan, particularly Tabatabai House, Borujadi House, and Abbasi House, reveal how wealthy merchant families lived during the 18th and 19th centuries. These aren't just homes, they're architectural complexes designed around principles of privacy, climate control, and aesthetic beauty. Each house centers on an interior courtyard, often with a pool and garden, providing a private outdoor space shielded from public view and street noise. Rooms surround the courtyard on multiple levels, with specific areas for winter facing south to capture sun, and summer facing north for shade and coolness. Elaborate stucco work, mirror mosaics, and stained glass windows transform these private spaces into galleries of decorative arts. The wind catchers here reach their zenith, multi-directional towers that capture breezes from any direction, channel them through underground water channels, and deliver cool, humidified air to living spaces below. In summer, families would sleep in basement rooms, Arabic ba, where temperatures remained comfortable even when the surface above exceeded 40 degrees C. This wasn't primitive living, this was sophisticated environmental control that maintained comfort without fossil fuels or electricity. Tehran, Iran's capital and largest city with a metropolitan population exceeding 15 million, presents the modern face of this ancient country, a sprawling, chaotic, traffic-choked metropolis where luxury cars navigate streets alongside donkey carts, where shopping malls and ancient bazaars compete for customers, and where ancient and contemporary collide daily. Tehran wasn't always Iran's capital. It rose to prominence only in the late 18th century when the Qajar dynasty moved the government here from Shiraz. The city's explosive growth, particularly after oil wealth began flowing in the 20th century, created an urban environment that struggles with pollution, traffic congestion, and infrastructure challenges, while simultaneously hosting world-class museums, universities, and cultural institutions. The National Museum of Iran houses artifacts spanning 7,000 years of civilization, from prehistoric pottery to Achaemenid gold, from Parthian statues to Sasanian silver. The treasury of national jewels displays wealth accumulated by Persian royalty over centuries, including the Darya-Rainor Sea of Light, one of the world's largest pink diamonds at 182 carats. These collections aren't just valuable, They're tangible proof of continuous civilization, of empires that ruled millions and accumulated treasures that still dazzle viewers today. But Tehran's most dramatic backdrop is Mount Damavand, a dormant stratovolcano that towers 5,610 meters above sea level, the highest peak in Iran and the Middle East. On clear days, admittedly increasingly rare due to pollution, Damavand's snow-covered cone dominates Tehran's northern horizon, a reminder that nature still overshadows human endeavor. Damavand holds deep mythological significance in Persian culture. In the Shahnameh Book of Kings, Persia's national epic written by Ferdowsi in the 10th century, the tyrant Zahak is imprisoned inside the mountain, and various heroes undertake quests involving Damavand. The mountain appears on Iran's currency and national emblems, symbolizing permanence, strength, and national identity. Damavand remains active, with fumaroles on its summit emitting sulfurous gases, a reminder that this mountain, like Iran itself, contains forces that could erupt at any moment. The volcano's last eruption occurred around 5,000 years ago, but the mountain isn't extinct, merely sleeping, much like ancient Persian glory that many Iranians believe will someday awaken again. Travel northwest into the Alborz Mountains, and history becomes legend, fact blurs into myth, and remote valleys hide stories that influenced global culture in unexpected ways. Here, perched on a rocky outcrop 2,163 meters above sea level, stand the ruins of Alamut Castle, headquarters of the Nizari Ismaili state, often called the Assassins. The word assassin itself allegedly derives from Hashishin, a name given to followers of Hassan I Sabbah, who captured Alamut in 1090 CE and established a state that resisted Seljuk and later Mongol domination for over 150 years. The assassins developed a strategy of targeted political killings, sending highly trained agents to eliminate key enemies rather than fighting conventional battles they couldn't win. These tactics proved so effective that the group's reputation for stealth and precision entered European languages, giving us our modern word for political murder. The legends surrounding Alamut are even more colorful than the facts. Marco Polo's accounts, likely fictional or exaggerated, describe a secret garden paradise where initiates were drugged, given every pleasure imaginable, then told they'd experienced heaven and could return only by serving the old man of the mountain faithfully. While historians largely dismissed these tales as fantasy, they captured Western imagination and influenced everything from romantic poetry to video games. What's certain is that Alamut represented successful mountain resistance against vastly more powerful empires. The castle's position, accessed only by a narrow path easily defended by a handful of fighters, made it nearly impregnable. The Nizari Ismailis held out until the Mongol invasion of 1256, when Hulagu Khan's forces finally captured and destroyed the fortress, burning its legendary library said to contain astronomical observations and scientific texts that were lost forever. Today, only ruins remain, But the site offers stunning views across the Alamat Valley and surrounding peaks, a landscape that seems designed for secrets, isolation, and resistance. The journey to reach Alamat takes you through villages where life continues much as it has for centuries, where agriculture clings to mountain slopes, and where the modern world feels very far away. We've already touched on the Hyrcanian forests, but the entire Caspian coastal region deserves deeper exploration. Iran's northern provinces, Gilan, Mazandaran, and Golestan, present an Iran that contradicts every stereotype. This isn't desert, it's lush, green, humid, and surprisingly populous. Rice cultivation dominates the agricultural landscape here, with terraced paddies climbing hillsides much like those in East Asia. Tea plantations produce Iran's favorite beverage. Despite Iran being geographically distant from traditional tea-growing regions like India and China, Iranians consume more tea per capita than almost any other nation, and much of it comes from plantations in these northern provinces. The cities along the Caspian coast, Rasht, Bandar-e Anzali, Chalas, serve as summer retreats for Iranians escaping Tehran's heat and pollution. The climate is humid subtropical, with annual rainfall exceeding 1,300 mm in some areas, more than 25 times the rainfall in Yazd. The contrast with central Iran is so extreme that it feels like a different country entirely. But the real treasure remains those ancient forests, ecosystems that have survived ice ages, climate shifts, and human expansion. The Hyrcanian forests harbor over 150 tree species and provide habitat for endangered species including the Persian leopard, brown bear, wild boar, and numerous bird species. The forest's importance led to UNESCO World Heritage designation in 2019, recognizing them as irreplaceable natural monuments. In northwestern Iran, the village of Kandavan presents yet another architectural adaptation to extreme geography. Here, volcanic rock formations created by Mount Sahan's eruptions have been carved into homes continuously inhabited for at least 700 years. The village looks like Turkey's famous Cappadocia region, with cone-shaped rocky formations rising from the ground, except Kandavan's 670 residents still actually live inside these rock dwellings. The volcanic tuff is soft enough to carve, but hardens when exposed to air, creating durable structures with excellent insulation properties, cool in summer, warm in winter. Families have expanded their homes over generations, carving new rooms as needed, creating multi-story dwellings entirely within the rock. Some homes have been continuously inhabited by the same families for centuries, with modifications and expansions telling the story of each generation's needs and priorities. What makes Kandavan particularly fascinating is its ordinariness. This isn't a museum or tourist reconstruction. It's a living village where children play in the streets, where residents maintain vegetable gardens, keep livestock, and go about daily lives inside homes carved from volcanic stone. It proves that traditional architecture isn't just historical curiosity. It's functional, sustainable, and deeply connected to local materials and climate. Nearby Tabriz, Azerbaijan province's capital with a population exceeding 1.5 million, represents Iran's cultural diversity. The city's population is predominantly Azerbaijani Turkish-speaking, a reminder that Iran isn't ethnically or linguistically homogeneous. While Persian, Farsi is the official language, millions of Iranians speak Azerbaijani Turkish, Kurdish, Luri, Arabic, and other languages as their first language. Tabriz's historic bazaar, recognized by UNESCO as one of the oldest continuously operating markets in the Middle East, covers approximately 7 square kilometers of vaulted corridors, caravanserais, and specialized sections for different trades. Walking through the bazaar is time travel. You'll find carpet sellers alongside electronics vendors, spice merchants next to clothing stores, traditional copperworkers hammering away beside shops selling imports from China. The bazaar isn't just commercial. It's historically been a center of political power and resistance. During Iran's constitutional revolution, 1905-1911, and the later Islamic Revolution, 1979, Tabriz's bazaar merchants played crucial roles in financing and organizing opposition movements. The bazaar economy, based on trust networks, extended family relationships, and informal banking systems, operates parallel to modern financial systems, demonstrating how traditional economic structures persist and thrive despite globalization. Our journey concludes with beauty and tragedy intertwined. Lake Urmia, once the Middle East's largest lake and the 6th largest saltwater lake in the world. At its maximum extent, Lake Urmia covered approximately 5,200 square kilometers between the provinces of East Azerbaijan and West Azerbaijan in northwestern Iran. The lake's extreme salinity, even higher than the Dead Sea, created unique conditions. Few organisms could survive in the water except for a specific type of brine shrimp and algae that gave the lake its distinctive reddish-pink color in certain seasons. Islands dotted the lake, including Kabudi Island, used as a protected breeding ground for flamingos, pelicans, and other migratory birds. The lake served as a crucial stop on the migratory route between Siberia and Africa, hosting millions of birds annually. But Lake Urmia has been dying. Over the past few decades, primarily due to dam construction, agricultural water diversion, climate change, and increased water consumption, the lake has shrunk by approximately 90% of its former area. What was once a vast inland sea has become scattered pools separated by exposed lakebed, white with salt and toxic dust. The consequences extend far beyond the lake itself. As the lakebed dries, winds carry salt and chemical-laden dust across surrounding provinces, affecting agriculture, human health, and local climate. The lake previously moderated regional temperatures and provided humidity that supported local agriculture. Its disappearance has made summers hotter, winters colder, and the entire region more arid. Satellite images from 2000 versus 2020 show the dramatic change. What was blue water is now tan desert. International organizations have called it an environmental catastrophe, comparing it to the drying of the Aral Sea in Central Asia. The Iranian government has launched various restoration initiatives, including water transfers from other regions and dam operation modifications, but the lake remains a fraction of its former size. Lake Urmia stands as a warning about resource management, about the downstream consequences of upstream decisions, and about how quickly environmental balance can collapse when human activity exceeds sustainable limits. It's a sobering end to our journey, a reminder that even ancient civilizations that mastered desert living can make catastrophic environmental mistakes. We've journeyed from the hottest place on Earth to ancient rainforests, from underground water channels to mountain fortresses, from poetry gardens to dying lakes. What have we learned? That Iran cannot be reduced to headlines or simplified into sound bites. It's a land of profound contradictions, ancient yet modern, harsh yet fertile, rigidly traditional in some ways, and surprisingly diverse in others. Now I'd love to hear from you. What aspect of Iran surprised you most? Would you visit? What other misunderstood destinations should we explore together? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and your insights often inspire future journeys. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Iran's extraordinary landscapes, history, and culture. May your travels, whether physical or through these videos, always expand your understanding and challenge your assumptions. Stay curious, stay healthy, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss our next adventure into the wonders of our magnificent world. Until next time, safe travels, friends.